Hello. You. So, welcome to one of my most favorite days of the week. And that's the day that we learn and we kind of go a little deeper and we don't give ourselves that break, right? We don't give ourselves the I'm doing enough, I'm good enough, I'm whatever, I have everything I need, I don't need to learn anymore. So we're curious. We're curious about ourselves, about other people, about relationships, about how to establish community and friendships and all of that kind of good stuff. So at least that's why I want to learn. I want to learn because, if I ever think that I'm cooked and I'm done and I'm ready, you know what? That's just not realistic in today's world. So today we're going back to our book club book of Lee Brown, Peeling the Onion. And what it says is bring your relationships back layer by layer. And so this is chapter 2. And in chapter 2, it says, so where do we start? So in chapter 1, we talked about the kind of, I don't know, shedding what isn't, right? So that was Facebook and social media. They are not the deep relationships that they seem. Some of the loneliest people are attracted to Facebook. Depressions are higher in the more highly connected cultures. So those kinds of things, basically saying that, in some ways there can be a lot of negative that goes with those kind of relationships. So what chapter 2 is about is, well, how do we start? How do we start creating the kind of relationships that will fortify us in our business? And so the thing that caught my attention was the mining for gold. And it says, and I think it says, what was it? Like, I think I put it in the title there, which was, anyone can go mining for silver. You got to dig deeper for gold. And so it was back to that old make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold. And it talked about how do you reconnect with the people who might have known you at your most authentic self and might have known you, before all of the transformations happened. And so she talked about reunions and how less people are going to reunions, more people are trying to get connected on Facebook and all of that kind of good stuff. So started me thinking. And what it first started me thinking about is, do you know how when you have a friendship or a relationship or responding to someone and you don't do it right away, and then it feels like it's too far and too long, and how do you reconnect now that you didn't act on it at that time, right? So I'll give you an example, and this is somebody gave somebody a gift certificate, and when the person got it, and it wasn't like handing it to them, so when the person got it, they weren't sure if it was for them. So they kind of just hedged on it. They didn't say thank you. They were afraid if they said thank you, the person would say, like, what are you talking about? That wasn't for you. And they went down this whole route. So I said, well, you have to say thank you. And and so they're like, well, it's been too long. It's been too long. I can't do it now. Too much time has passed. So that feeling, right now, this was and today, by today's standards, that was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, right? And we're talking about maybe going the long game and talking to people 5, 10, 20 when you were growing up, like all of those people trying to think about who you may want to connect with. And how do you start that kind of communication going? How do you guys do it? What do you do when you want to connect with someone and you think it's been too long? And you're trying to think about how to open up communication again. So the little teaser here, of course, it's sending a note and starting with that and just saying something reminded you of it, or just kind of opening, giving them, again, like we've said, always start with some sort of contribution. I saw this made me think of you. I found this old picture. I thought it was hilarious and whatever. And just starting it that way. So that's how to do it. And we know why to do it. Well, actually, do you know why to do it? There's a couple of reasons. One is if we're looking to create some deep relationships, going deeper, maybe those people that knew you when, or those people that, as I say, you were your most authentic self with, maybe that's a good start. The other thing from a real estate standpoint is that, for me, I'm 58. A lot of my friends, this is when they've got to come back, perhaps if they've moved away, and take care of their family business because one of their parents has passed away. So I can be of service to them. So there's a lot of reasons to do it for work, and there's a lot of reasons to do it for personal. And so I'm going to encourage you to do it, and I'm going to do it too. Okay, we're both going to do this. And next week when we get together, we're going to talk about it. We're going to reconnect with someone from the past, and we're going to talk about how it felt, like what the nuggets of miracles were in it, right? I always say that moment of magic. We're going to come back with a moment of magic. I always say that a moment of magic is like right partnered with a moment of misery. So it might not be all 100% awesome. So she also touches on how do I get myself, my bad self, ready? I don't quite look like I did back then. I may be a little heavier. I've got more wrinkles. I may whatever. And maybe I need to get ready to meet this person. And what she points out is, number one, is that they've aged too, right? They're not going to be the same person that they were then. And they may be self-conscious about those items also. And one thing that I feel that we can see each other's souls, and we don't look for the wrinkles or maybe the size bigger or whatever. Like, we're looking for that person and the connection that we had. And again, back to when it was not based on so much surface stuff. And again, I'm going to think about my children and how much harder I think it is for them to stay away from that surface piece, right? And that comparison piece, because I just think social media has been such a part of their lives. And I'm nervous about the children who, that are starting with almost like a device in their hands. Anyway, we're not worried about them today. Today, we're worried about us and digging deeper in relationships and peeling back that onion, right? And getting to that authentic self. And maybe you feel, as I'm saying this, like something in the back of my mind is saying, you know what? Maybe some people feel like they're there, like they've peeled back their onion. They're there. Well, what I can tell you is the research I've done from the virus this last year has put all new levels into what there is. And so I'm going to challenge you, because I think we've all changed from what we've gone through this past year. And I think that there's new opportunities for us to peel back that onion, to make some deep in a oh, good. Someone says goal today is making a reconnection list. And that's a great idea. And, and I think that's Heather speaking. And Heather is somebody who is an old friend of mine and came and started working with me a couple of years ago, took my class when we reconnected, and now is working with me. And one of the things I can say is, we hit the ground running as far as establishing relationship, because we had already peeled a lot of that onion before we reconnected. So I feel that that's something to think about, right? So we never had to go back to that. Who are you and who are you kind of thing, because we'd seen it all, and we'd been there for it all. So that's a consideration, because you don't get that sometimes with new people and new friends. And so I want us to go digging for gold. And those are those old friends, those old relationships. Go through your database, find those friends that are still in there, find out how they're doing, see if there's anything you can do. If you are back, like for me, I came back to the community I grew up in. So if you're back in that community, then you've got opportunities to help. And, with their families, bringing food to their parents, whatever, right? And if you are in a new area, then maybe this is a time just to dig in and just connect. As I said, I feel like even if you've done this work, as maybe you have, is if that was pre-pandemic, then things have changed. And when you start digging in, you will find that too. And that's what I want us to talk about next week. And I think we got one more good week in here about this book. And again, it's a small book, so it's something that we can all read pretty much in one sitting. Alrighty, my friends, I will see you. Have an amazing day, and let's go digging for gold.